Greetings. The other day I read an interesting surah. Surah 1047 to be specific. Let's see what it says. Mushin Khan. And for every ummah, or a community or a nation, there is a messenger. To every people was sent a messenger. And for every nation there is a messenger. And for every nation is a messenger. Before we go any further, what is the context of this verse? Surah 10:45. And on the day when he shall gather or resurrect them together, it will be as if they had not stayed but an hour of a day. So from the context, we can see that this Surah 1047 is claiming to be related to the day of judgment. When their messenger comes, the matter will be judged between them with justice, and they will not be wronged. When their messenger comes before them, the matter will be judged between them with justice, and they will not be wronged. And when their messenger cometh on the day of judgment, it will be judged between them fairly, and they will not be wronged. So when their messenger comes, it will be judged between them in justice, and they will not be wronged. So the claim in this surah is that on Judgment Day, people of every nation will face the messenger that Allah sent to that nation. The problem this surah causes is this. Surah 1047 claims that a messenger was sent to every nation. Well, let's list and count a few of the prophets and the nation they were sent to. There was Moses. He was a prophet sent to Israel, the Jewish nation. There was Elijah. He was a prophet of the Jewish nation. There was Elisha. He was a prophet of the Jewish nation. There was Isaiah. He was a prophet of the Jewish nation. There was Ezekiel. He was a prophet of the Jewish nation. There was Jeremiah. He was a prophet of the Jewish nation. There was Solomon. He was a king of Israel and a prophet of the Jewish nation. There was David. He was a king of Israel and a prophet of the Jewish nation. There was Yahya, or John. He was a prophet to the Jewish nation. There was Jesus. He was a prophet to the Jewish nation. Are you beginning to see the pattern here? Every single named prophet was sent to Israel. If you call yourself Muslim, help me out here. You must know all the prophets sent to all the other nations, right? There must be thousands, because there have been thousands of nations. Well, maybe hundreds. If you call yourself Muslim, come on, help me out here. Please name 50. Only 50 prophets and the nations they were sent to. You know, a related surah is 35:24. Verily we have sent you with the truth, a bearer of glad tidings and a warner. And there never was a nation, but a warner had passed among them. Verily we had sent thee in truth as a bearer of glad tidings and as a warner. And there never was a people without a warner, having lived among them in the past. Lo, we have sent thee with the truth, a bearer of glad tidings and a warner. And there is not a nation but a warner hath passed among them. Indeed, we have sent you with the truth as a bringer of good tidings and a warner, and there was no nation, but there had passed within it a warner. So let's look at the phrases again. And there never was a nation, but a warner had passed among them.
He was old when he began to reign. 2 Chronicles, chapter number 22, verse number 2 says that he was 42 years old when he began to reign. Was he 22 years old or was he 42 years old? Mathematical contradiction. Furthermore, in 2 Chronicles, chapter number 21, verse number 20, it says that Joram, the father of Ahaziah, he reigned at the age of 32 and he reigned for 8 years. And he died at the age of 40. Immediately Ahaziah became the next ruler at the age of 42. Father died at the age of 40. Immediately son takes over, who's at the age of 42. How can a son be 2 years older than the father? Believe me, even in Hollywood film, you will not be able to produce it. In Hollywood film, You can produce a unicorn, which I mentioned in my talk. Unicorn, you can have cockroaches, which the Bible speaks about. Cockroaches and dragons and serpents. But in Hollywood, you cannot even show a son being 2 years older than the father. It cannot even be a miracle. Even in miracle, it's not possible. Impossible. In miracle, you can have a person being born of a virgin birth, but in miracle, you can't have a son being older than the father by 2 years. Further, if you read, it's mentioned in the Bible, in 2 Samuel, chapter number 24, verse number 9, that the people that were involved in the battlefield, it gives a list of these people in 2 Samuel, chapter 24, verse number 9, and it says that people that took part, 800,000 of the men of Israel took part, and 500,000 of the men of Judah. Same, if you see other places, First Chronicle, chapter 21, verse number 5, it says that 1,100,000 people took part in the battlefield from the men of Israel, and 10,460 men took part of Judah. Was it 800,000 people who took part from the men of Israel, or was it 1,100,000? Was it 5 lakh people of Judah that took part, or 10,460? A clear-cut contradiction. Furthermore, it's mentioned in the Bible, in 2 Samuel, chapter number 6, verse number 23, that Michal, the daughter of Saul, she had no sons. 2 Samuel, chapter 21, verse number 8, Michal, the daughter of Saul, had 5 sons. One place it says no children, no son, no daughter. Other place, 5 sons. Furthermore, if you read, it's mentioned in Gospel of Matthew, chapter number 1, verse number 16, it says about the genealogy of Jesus, peace be upon him, as well as Luke chapter number 3, verse number 23, and it says that Jesus' father, that Joseph, his father was Jacob, in Matthew chapter 1, verse 16. And Luke chapter 3, verse number 23, Jesus' father Joseph, his father was Heli. Did Jesus' father Joseph had 2 fathers? What do you call a person who has got 2 fathers? Or was it Heli, or was it Jacob?
Thank you, Dr. Mike.
The Bible has a scientific test how to identify a true believer. It's mentioned in the Gospel of Mark, chapter number 16, verse number 17 and 18. It says that there will be signs for true believers, and amongst the signs, in my name, they shall cast out devils. They shall speak foreign tongues, new tongues. They shall take up serpents. And if they drink deadly poison, they shall not be harmed. And when they place their hand over the sick, they shall be cured. This is a scientific test. In scientific terminology, it's known as the confirmatory test for a true Christian believer. In the past 10 years of my life, I have personally interacted with thousands of Christians, including missionaries. I have not come across a single Christian who has passed this confirmatory test of the Bible. I have not come across a single Christian who took poison. I have not come across any who took poison and who has not died. And in scientific terminology, this is also called as a falsification test. That means if a false person tries and does this test, takes poison, he will die. And a false person will not dare attempt this test. If you are not a true Christian believer, you will not dare attempt this test. Because if you try and attempt the falsification test, you will fail. So, a person who is not a true Christian believer will never attempt this test.